Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Galuh Pratiwi. My student number is 221304256. Okay, and here I would like to submit my mid-test from advanced speaking about retelling the story. And in here I have the story about the open window from Hector Hakemundo. Okay, the story begins with a man named Frampton Nuttall who is visiting a rural retreat in hopes of finding a cure for his nerves. His sister had given him letters of introduction to the people in the area, including Mrs. Stapleton. Frampton is unsure if Mrs. Stapleton falls into the category of nice people. While waiting for Mrs. Stapleton, Frampton engaged in conversation with her self-possessed 15-year-old niece, the niece of Mrs. Stapleton. The niece mentioned that her aunt has experienced a great tragedy 3 years ago when her husband and two brothers went out for a day of shooting and never returned. They were lost in the bog, and their bodies were never found. The aunt still holds onto the hope that they will return someday, and she keeps a window open every evening until dusk in anticipation of their return. As they discussed the tragedy, the niece mentioned that sometimes she got a creepy feelings that her lost relatives and their dogs will walk in through the window. Just as finished speaking, Mrs. Stapleton entered the room. She apologized for being late and mentioned that her husband and brothers will be returning from their shooting soon. Frampton feels uncomfortable with the topic of the conversation and tries to steer it away from the tragedy. However, Mrs. Stapleton seems distracted and keeps looking past Frampton towards the open window. He realizes that his visit coincides with the anniversary of the tragedy, and Mrs. Stapleton becomes excited and exclaiming that her husband and brothers had arrived just in time for tea. And Frampton and the niece turn to look out the window, and to their horror, they see three figures approaching the house. The figures are carrying guns, and one of them wearing a white coat. A brown spaniel follows behind them. In a state of panic, Frampton hastily grabs his belongings and flees from the house. As he rushes away, a cyclist on the road has to swerve to avoid him. Meanwhile, the figures into the house through the window, and Mrs. Stapleton explained to the niece that the man who ran away must have been Mr. Nuttall, who apparently had a fear of dogs. And the niece suggests that Mr. Nuttall's fear of dogs may have been caused by an incident in which he was caused by the dogs and had to spend a night in a grave. And she remarks that it's enough to make anyone lose their nerve. And the story ends with the niece displaying her talent for creating romantic stories on short notice. And the open window is a classic example of Saki's signature style, which often includes dark humor, irony, and unexpected twists. And that's all from me. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.